So three-tier architecture. Three-tier architecture is nothing but this is the basic, the complete AX application architecture. It's not about only the technical part, and this is the total architecture of the Dynamics AX. Okay. So when you see here, we have three tiers. One is clients, server, and database. The concept is like client server architecture. Okay. So clients are nothing but wherever the end user will open the AX application in the browser, and he will do his operations, day-to-day operations. Okay. So that place we call it as a client. So client is always multiple. So clients will be there. The second one is server. Server which contains the AOS. AOS is nothing but application object server. Okay. Application object server is nothing but which will execute all the business logics. Kind of CPU for the computer. However, we have the CPU. Similarly, AOS will execute all the business logics. Okay. And that will be interacting with the another tier called database, SQL Server database. Microsoft SQL Server database will support only for the Microsoft. Okay. So this database houses the complete data, whatever it is creating in the application by the clients, application setups, whatever that everything will be data related part will be stored into the database level. So this this tier will be interacting with the AOS. AOS will be interacting with the client, vice versa. Okay, are you understanding, guys? Anyway, I'll show you this. Yeah. Anyway, I'll show you this actually in the real time in the application where the client will be there, where is the AOS and all those things. So it's all about like clients, server, and database. Client is the UI, the user interface where he will do his operations. That is only always we or user can see, but I mean the end user can see that. So AOS and database only as a developers will go into the backend and we will see something is required and we'll do it. Okay. The same thing I have explained here with some more details. Database stores the data and the server runs the application business logics. Client application allows users to connect. It's again the same discussion, whatever I have explained with you. All right. Now what I'll do, I have already connected to my RDP. Okay. So if you see this is my RDP. I have connected with the where AX application is there in that RDP. So once we connect to this RDP, okay, let's go to IaaS manager. Okay, Internet Information Services Manager. Right click on this and run as administrator. Okay, so once you open here, and this is where you can see in this, if you expand here and we can see sites. So here in these sites, you can see AOS service. So as I discussed with you, server contains the AOS. So AOS service. So once I connected to my environment, my RDP, so here I am seeing AOS, right, in the IaaS manager. If you right click on this AOS, if you go to manage website, and here you can see so restarts or stop. So this is a service. Service can be stopped or it can be start. Okay, we can restart also. So this service has to be always in running state. If this service is stopped, your user cannot open the AX application in the UI as a client. Okay, so to open the UI in the browser client, select this AOS and click this browse this link. It automatically takes your control to the browser. It's opening now. Should be open. Yeah, it's opening. So that means what does it mean? So directly I don't know which is the link to open client, right? Generally, I'm talking in terms of from the technical point of view, not from the as end user point of view. For end user also will not come and take from here. For him he'll have the separate access in the LCS, and from that place he will automatically takes care. But generally, in terms of as a developer, when you come to this, and how do we know that how to open the client? So when I click that link, client is opened, because when it is opening, it will ask your login ID and password. Since I have already given my login ID and password, it is already taken care. Okay, so this is the AX application. Here you can see all the list of modules. Okay, and you can open any of the form from here, or vendors, or customers, or purchase orders, or sales orders, whatever you want. Okay, so this is how we do. So now what we seen, server we have seen, and client we have seen. 2 tiers we have completed. Third one is database. Go to start, just give us SMS. SQL Server Management Services. Right click on it, open, run as administrator. Okay, so database will open. So this is my development environment where I have all my 3 tiers in the same box. When you talk about other environment like UAT or pre-prod or production, so definitely user will not open his AX application in the RDP, right? He'll go to his normal login and he'll open his laptop and he'll go to browser and he'll open that application. So that means client is in different location. He'll open his laptop, and database will be in different box, different mission, and AOS also will be into different mission. 3 missions, right, in the live environment. So this is my development environment. As a developer, we will always connect to the single VM, and all the 3 tiers will be into the same box. Are you understanding? And I open to the database, and you can see the database here, AXDB. So this is the database. So how can I say that it's AXDB is the correct database? Generally, if you go to application level, if you go to system administration module, come down. In the system administration module, what we can do, the database information, So here you can see AXDB. So this is the database name which has been assigned to this application, right? This is how we can make sure that is the right database. And even you can go inside and you can see the data also. There are multiple tables you can find. You can open the data here and you can see here also. For the technical person, okay? Any doubts till now?
Yeah, if we want to change the database, how can we do that?
Why do you want to change the database?
Uh,
Changing in the sense?
Means this is AXDB, right? In application also it is accessing AXDB, but if we want to create a new database with separate records, we want to assign that
No,
database.
you should not do that. Why do you have to do that actually? See, see one thing. In AX application here, we are not going to install any software and database or anything. Everything is predefined virtual machine, this one. If you want to work with 10.0.15, download that VM, configure that VM in your on-premises and do it. But generally in the implementations, actually mostly they'll go with the cloud environments. Okay. So that also we have to spin up that environments in the LCS and we have to use it.
Okay.
So we are not going to install any separate AX2012, bring that setup and install it, click it, next, give the concern name. Like AX2012, we don't have any setups to install. Everything is pre-configured. Why do you have to change the database? Tell me. Okay. I mean, we don't have to do that. Maybe sometimes we may need to do like we may need to restore the database from the test environment to get the test data. So we have the steps to do that. Okay. But you don't have to create your own new database and you cannot link up with the application. It will not work like that. Okay. Any doubts? Akhil and Pramod? Pramod, are you understanding or?
Yeah, I'm understanding.
You feel free and you guys, anybody, you feel free and let me know any doubts actually. Don't think that if I ask this small doubt, somebody may think something under. Whatever the doubts you have, don't keep it in your mind. Try to be with the free mind and ask me. After finishing like 4-5 sessions, again, don't come back to the first session. And I was about to ask that question 1 week back. So don't say like, try to clarify your doubts, whenever, we are discussing the concept.
Oh,
That is the, okay, whatever it is, okay, whatever the doubt you have.
yes.
So the next one is, I would say like application stack and server architecture. And we have the layers concept. I'll go in simple way. Okay. Instead of going this application stack and server architecture, let me talk about the development architecture so that you will understand this. Okay. So what is the development architecture? Development architecture is nothing but developer, we have to do the development. Okay. Once we connect to this environment, we have to go to start menu. We have to open the Visual Studio. Okay. Right click on this Visual Studio 2017, run as administrator. Once you open this, it will open. Okay. I have opened some other things. I'll close them. Okay. Once you open this, Visual Studio will be looks like this. Okay. So what we need to do? So generally, since you are working in AX application, AX VMs, you can see this Dynamics 365 menu. In the normal Visual Studio, you cannot see this. Okay, this is one thing. Another thing is, if you go to View, you will have like 3 options: Solution Explorer, Application Explorer, Team Explorer. These 3 things are important for us. Solution Explorer is nothing but this is the Solution Explorer where we'll create a solution with the project and we'll do our development activities in this. And other one is Application Explorer. That is nothing but if you click on this and select the Application Explorer, it will open the Application Explorer, which contains the AOT. Okay, AOT is nothing but Application Object Tree. Application Object Tree. The complete AX application objects will be located in this AOT. Whether we are creating a new object or there are some lots of standard objects. From the user point of view, whatever the object we are opening, whatever the form, whatever the reports and everything, every feature we are opening, there for every feature like users or if you go to accounts payables, whatever you're opening. So for everything, there will be an object in the backend. So that all the objects you can find here. You can see all the tables and table extensions, views, and everything you can see here. So these are all the objects we are going to learn how to create a table, what is a table extension, view, queries, data entities, user interface. You can see forms and all those things you can work on it. Code in the code, you can see classes and macros. So this is how we do. This is the AOT. Okay. So even though if you are creating a new object in the project, that object will be created in AOT only. In the project is the place where you can create and you can see those objects and you can modify here. But end of the day, that object will be located in the main places in the AOT, application object tree. Okay. The third one is Team Explorer. Team Explorer is the one to maintaining your development version control. Version control is nothing but whatever the objects we are creating for this development, that objects to keep it in the central location in the online, we will configure with the VSTS. That is nothing but Visual Studio Team Services. Okay. Now we are calling it as a DevApps actually, DevApps. Okay. Simple thing, whatever we are developing the objects here, that we are keeping it into a central location in the online by using this Team Explorer, using DevApps project. We have to go to online, devappsazure.com, dev.azure.com. There we have to create a project. That project we have to link to this Visual Studio, so that whatever the objects we are creating, that we can add to that online and we can check in. And say for example, there are one more developer are working in the same project, right? So 2 developers, his VM is different, my VM is different. Whatever the objects I'm creating, he also wants to see them. So to sync all the objects, we'll keep a single location in the online. Both will configure with the same project, online project, and we'll do the sync. Every day I'm doing my development, I'll come and I'll do the get latest. I'll get all the latest objects also in my local VM. Don't get confused now. This is mainly to keep your objects up to date with all the developers' objects, and parallelly to keep all our objects in the online safely. Okay? Are you understanding or not?
Can you explain Solution Explorer once more? Solution.
Yeah, this is high level I'm discussing. Anyway, we'll come back and we'll create a solution and we'll create a project and we'll do a lot of things here, because our complete development will be here only. Solution Explorer is nothing but the place where we'll create a new solution with the project. So to do your development, you have to create solution with project. In that project only, you are going to do your development. File, new project, and here You will create your you have to select the Dynamics 365 in that install templates. Then you can have to select the finance and operations. You have to give your project name, and here you can give the solution name and click OK. So it will create a solution with project. So in this project, you can add your items. Add new item. That items are nothing but like AOT items only. Whether it is a data model, you'd like to create a table or view, query, whatever we have seen in AOT, the same object types you can see here, data types. Okay.
Okay.
Once you add it, that object will be added here in the project. Then we can do your development. Development is nothing but adding in new objects, creating some code or creating some forms or reports or that's all.
Okay.
Okay. So I hope things are good. Any doubts as of now? So if you don't have any doubts, so this is our development environment. It's an integrated development environment. IDE we call it as Visual Studio IDE. Okay. And parallelly, one more thing is whatever we are creating new objects here, or whatever the objects are there in standard, for every object, it will be in one of the model. We have a concept called model. So this is my project I have created. You can see here the test. TEST is my model, test model. The layer is cus layer. So that means generally model is nothing but it's kind of logical grouping of elements. So that means I am creating my objects. So how can I differentiate my objects where it is? So we'll create a model. So this model, we'll use that model and we can we can do the development in that model. So that means what will happen? All our objects will be stored into that model. That model can be easily used to export as a package to do the deployment with other environment. Okay. So as per the general scenario in every project, in the implementation project, we'll have one model. All the developers will use the same model, and we'll do our development in that model. So in this case, you can see test is my model. So I have added so many objects for the development, for example. Okay, so my model is test here. I'll add like object one, object two. Like here in this case, I have added student mark, student table. So all my development will be in this model, test model. If I want to export my objects, I can export this model. Or else I can, if I want to move this all the development changes to a test environment, I'll go to Dynamics 365 and I'll go to deploy and create a deployment package. And I can select this test model and I can export it. Okay. So that means model is mandatory. Without model, we cannot do any development. We will see how to create model and how to do that. In model management in Dynamics 365, model management, we can go to create model and we can do it. But before that, you just try to understand. Without model, we cannot do anything. And other than that model, we have a concept called layer also. Okay. Layer is nothing but layer is in terms of I would say like high level. I mean, before models also, layer is the kind of main container. Okay. So we have multiple layers. The whatever the standard objects we are getting it, that standard objects will be in standard layers. That is sys layer. That means all the standard objects, most of the standard objects will be in sys layer. And we have JLS layer. Again, layer is nothing but whatever the standard objects we have, that will be into sys layer. We will not have access to remove that. So to differentiate our objects with the standard objects. So whatever the objects I have created, they are into cus layer. You can see here. The model is test model, but that model is in cus layer. In cus layer, I can create multiple models. It's kind of something like that. Say for example, if you see here, cus layer, for example. In this cus layer, I have model test, right? I can create multiple models in cus layer. Test 2. Test is one model and test is one more model, for example. So these two models are in cus layer. So that means the cus layer is outer one, like it's a big one. In that cus, we can have multiple models. But end of the day, we always deal with the models only. So with layers, we are not going to do anything. While you are creating a model, you have to select in which layer you are going to create that model. Even for the standard also, Even though objects are there in this layer, okay, we'll have the, even though the standard objects are there in this layer, for standard objects also there are models again. Application suite and application platform. Application suite, application platform, one more, just a moment, let me see that name. Application foundation. These three major models, we call it as a application stack. Okay, these are all into maybe different layers. Again, for every standard object, that will be into one single layer, and again it will be into a one model. Don't get confused. It's a simple concept. If you want to do your development, you should have your own model to do your development. That model will be into one layer. So we are not going to do anything with the layer. While you are creating a model, you have to select your layer. So I went to the Dynamics 365, go to model management, create model. There, once you come here, you can specify your model name, and here you can select your layer. Okay, mostly our developments will be done var layer or cust layer. Cust layer is nothing but customer layer. Var layer is nothing but value added reseller. The companies whoever is doing their implementations, the projects developments, like Infosys, TCS, all those companies. So they'll have the access to var. They will take the var layer to do the development for the customer. Okay, are you guys understanding? Are you guys are able to follow me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now if I go back to the presentation, now you will understand very clearly what I was discussing about. So if I go back, so we were talking about 3-tier architecture. So I hope you are clear with this. If I go to next screen, now you can see here application stack and server architecture. So application stack is nothing but whatever I was discussing now with you. What is that? Sorry. So application stack contains this major three models actually. If you can correlate now. So this application suite, application foundation, and application platform. So these three models are packages. We call it as a application stack. So there are so many other models are there in the standard application. If you go to Visual Studio, and if you go to your AOT can be seen in two views. One is classic view, other one is model view. If you right click on this AOT, you can see model view because it is showing in classic view. If you go to model view, all the objects will be shown in the different models because that objects are located in different models. It will show on model wise, it will show in the form of model wise. You can see all the standard. So you can see application suite, application foundation. Again, you can see application workspace, accounts payables, accounts receivables. There are so many models. Even you can see my model also here. Test. This is my model which I have created. Okay. So this is how it looks like. And one more very important thing is for every object, whether it is a standard object or it's a custom new object. If you go to backend, if you go to folder level, you go to C drive. What is our service name? AOS service. Go to AOS service folder. And you can see packages local directory. We are calling it as a packages. Okay, even the models names when you are creating a model, it will create as a package. I'll tell you why it is a package. Packages local directory. If you go inside the packages local directory, you can see all the list of packages. That means we can call it as a model also. So if you see here, what is my model? Test, my package. If I go inside this package, you can see your model here. Other required objects here. If I go inside this test, you can see all your objects here in the form of each folder. If I go to AX classes, for every object, we will have one folder. Whether it is a table, AX table. Okay, it is a form, AX form folder. If you go inside that folder, you can see your objects. Whatever the objects I have created in my model, you can see here. If I go to, for example, if you go to here in your project, these are all the things I have created. And even if you want to make sure, you go back to your AOT model view, it is already in model view. Go to your model, go to your user interface and see your forms. How many forms I have here? Form 1, student table, query form. 3 forms are there. You go back your folder level, and if you see, you can see that 3 forms here. So every object is stored in the form of XML file. Are you guys are able to follow me, or I'm taking so much of in a single day? Hello guys, are you there?
Yeah, okay, it's okay.
Yeah, Akhil, are you Akhil and everybody? Are you guys are able to follow me, or I'm pushing so much of subject in a single day?
No, it's fine. I'm able to catch up.
Yeah, fine. So you see, my main intention is here to understand the basic architecture and even the development architecture. That is my intention today. Okay. So I hope you guys are following me. So this is how for every object we'll have the one file in the form of XML file in the development environment. Make a note, in development environment, not in production or goal pre-production or test environment, right? This is only development environment. You can see every object in the form of XML files and model in the form of models. Okay. When you go to other environments like test or pre-prod or live environments, there you cannot see in this format. It's kind of packages format. That is anyway, that we'll discuss later. So as we are doing development, so we'll have like this. Are you guys are clear till now?
Yes, yes.
So of course layers also in the same way. I think so you guys are clear with the layers also. So layers will be looks like this. I mean, this is the for understanding. So you'll have the different layers. The standard objects will be in sys layer, and country specific features. For example, in India, USA, Russia. So they have different countries. They'll have different taxations. So for that taxation related features and objects will be into GLS layer, global solution, feature pack layer, solution layer, ISV layer. These three are. Let me go to next page. So when we are talking about this, when you see this diagram, when you see this image, sys layer is the bottommost layer, which is contains all the standard objects. And similar and in simultaneously, GLS layer contains the global features, and feature pack layer. There are some feature packing patches will be into this feature pack. Solution and ISV related to the new solutions are, will be there in the solution layer. For every layer, you can see one patch layer. That is why you can see SYS with SYP, system patch. Any new patches for SYS, it will comes to the system patch layer. GLS, GLP, feature pack, FPP, feature pack layer and feature pack patch layer, solution layer, solution patch layer. So we will do our development in var layer or cus layer. User layer is the topmost layer. The end user, if he wants to do any small changes, he will use the user layer. So from the top view, you can see all the changes. System layer may have one table which contains some 10 fields. Again, in GLS layer, there may be 2 more fields added. In var layer, I have added like 5 fields. Total 17 fields you can see from the top view. So that means a single object may contains multiple changes, but the changes will be vary based on the layer. But we cannot go and touch that 10 fields which is there in the standard layer, not delete them. And even I cannot delete the GLS layer changes also. I'll only have the access maybe for var, whichever I am doing my development, or cus, there only I can do my development, my changes only I can do it. I cannot go and touch that. That is the layers concept mainly. Are you guys are clear?
Yeah, no, okay, no.
So this is the little more understanding of each layer. What is system layer? Standard application implemented at the lowest level, and the GLS layer application is modified to the match country region specific legal demands. Feature pack layer is reserved for the Microsoft for feature patchings. Solution layer is used by the distributors to implement the vertical solutions. If there is any new modules for the things and all, it will be there in it. Okay. So solution layer and ISV layer. If there is any companies, they're developing a new modules or any new solutions will be in ISV layer. Where layer is, as I told you, in companies they are implementing the software, the AX application with the customers, they'll take this where layer. Customer, if the customer is having their own development team, and if they are doing the development, they'll use the cust layer. User layer is for the end user modifications. Are you clear with this? Are any doubts? I'm not going to the so much today. I'm closing for today now. Any doubts till now? Or I'm pushing so much today? You just please let me know if you are feeling bored
No.
or not. And
Yeah, it's fine.
Pratap, are you there? Pratap and Akhil.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is it clear for you?
Yes. Yes.
Feel free and let me know if you guys are having any doubts or anything.
You'll be sharing this video, right? It's recording or something.